The Confessions of St. Augustine, a 21st century Two Little Savages. This is where we get into the Indians and how that all fits in, albeit he's still stoned out of his mind. But much like the Two Little Savages in the novel of the same name by Ernest Thompson Seton, a classic of children's literature, this does lay the groundwork for all three novels, not to mention all that came before. The Indians, that is, not the drugs. That's just a summer's indulgence. So hang in there. Like the man says, I sought in my heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainting mine heart with wisdom, and to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was that good for the sons of men, which they should do under the heaven all the days of their life. And it worked for Solomon. He was the wisest man in the world. Not that we should hold out for similar results from the eponymous hero of our novel, but you get the idea. He's more like the eponymous hero of Bellows Herzog, the philosophical schlemiel, whose ultimate struggle is whether to get a life or get a laugh. See last post, post 17. Walks to the top of this bare hill until he looked like an ant up there and starts in on, of all things, "If there is a God, let him strike me dead." Really, isn't that something? And it wasn't really necessary, especially when you're with him, because the asshole kept doing it too. And oh, loud. Again and again too. I mean, my convictions aren't much better, than New Year's resolutions. Like fire insurance, just in case. But the shithead didn't let up. And when he gets back in the car, I even felt more threatened in case God's reply had merely been withheld, waiting to get us both together, for convenience sake. And anyway, other than getting chased by the cops this morning, stoned out of our minds, the only real excitement I could remember was the day we got dressed up as Indians. The simple life, wearing these curtains. Except regardless of how we arranged them, they were too long and almost touched the ground, and stepping on your loincloth isn't exactly like stepping on your shoelaces, especially with this elastic stretch belt I had. You see, when you step on your loincloth, you can keep stepping on it, the whole length of it, and hope for the best from that elastic and buckle and all. And so anyway, it was off and into the woods, like old times. Him off and bounding through the woods, screaming like he's got a bee in his loincloth, looking for white men. So I didn't follow too closely, in case, And besides, this was a personal experience. But come on, Schmidt! Not so loud, and don't call me Schmidt! But he's always like that, I wish I had the guts. But can you imagine back home when she's got all those right people in the house that took her years to meet through her volunteer work? My father's job, the yacht club, and dancing school, and I show up in the loincloth with every rib in my chest, vying for attention. Ah! Screams the whatever when Smedley plows over it, draining me of all thought, propelling him on into oblivion like the vanishing American. And by the time I realize he's interrupted a peaceful way of life for some elderly woman and her husband, I am the new center of attention, swinging around like a half-crazed savage, tomahawk in hand. While the head of it fails to make the full revolution, of course, taking off on a flight of its own. Yes, and the misplaced foot and my feet running up the loincloth until it was gone. Yes, along with all dignity and hope of reprieve, which must have accounted for the perpetuation of her lungs in sustaining a shriek that took on an existence of its own, even gaining in volume and conviction, not even realizing she's going to need air sooner or later. And speaking of which, I'm getting to the point now, that cop thing this morning. Except, although maybe I should just add about that loincloth thing, that after some moral discussion on the matter, we did put our clothes on so they wouldn't recognize us and slip back into the woods as quietly as possible to where she might have been hemorrhaging, getting our first glimpse of them walking towards us a second or two before they got their first glimpse of us walking towards them. To duck would have merely led to the inevitable, and it would seem most natural saying hello, but that meant looking somewhere in the direction where recognition would almost seem inevitable. I toyed with the idea of quickly bending over to rave about some wildflowers, but that didn't seem too good either. When suddenly Smedley said, "Have you seen two crazy-looking buggers in G-strings, 5 and 6 feet tall, one with red hair, something like mine, the other with dark hair, something?" This time it came in short gasps with pauses in between, pauses which Smedley tried to take advantage of by interjecting, but it was like using gas to put out a fire. And so anyway, that cop thing this morning I was going to tell you about, except I can't remember most of it, I'll tell you the truth, too stoned. All I remember is that knocking and asking who was there, but no one answers, so I open up and hear, "The police!" When it was too late, of course. And of course we had enough of Riker's stuff in there to put me away for 10 years. "We're looking for Augustine Schmidt. Who are you?" Maybe 20. "Smedley Fagan." "That's funny. You look like Augustine Schmidt." "Yeah, people are always saying that." "And according to this picture from your mother," yes, slam bang, and I took off through the hallway. And you couldn't even shovel the stuff out of there. Slam bang, and another one of them had already been waiting by the back door. Slam bang. And I didn't even know it. Shit, until I slammed open the screen and heard the thud as he falls down, staring up at me, not fully comprehending, just sliding down alongside of me. Yes. Well, I'm assaulting and battering holy shit all the way down the stairs. Yes, and across the yard, over the fence. Yes, into the next street, until I caught up to Smedley. Yes, and off in his car. Oh, yes, more stoned by the minute. I can't remember, Yes, and according to our mother, slam bang, I can't remember. Beautiful. Oh, yes, there, yes. That's it, right there. Everything, right there. Slam bang. And then some. To be continued. The Confessions of St. Augustine. Now available on Amazon.com.